G'day, welcome back. Episode 19 of the build series, getting close to the end now. Just getting the final bits done on the van so we can shoot off into the sunset and have a bit of adventure. And part of that adventure process is to get this bad boy up and running. So this is a 20 horsepower Tohatsu 4-stroke outboard that I actually designed the front box around, sort of. I was looking for a 2-stroke but ended up with a 4-stroke because 2-strokes were getting hard to find these days. So this is a bit bigger than I was hoping I would have in the front box, but I was planning to put some drawers in the bottom, but the size of this doesn't quite work. Yeah, so I've had to come up with a solution to get it in the box easily without destroying my back, which is proving a little bit difficult at times. What I've basically done is just created this little dolly, just put some casters on a bit of LVL that fits in where the transom mount is and locks on with these transom mount points there. And yeah, the idea is that it just slides in. I just put these are the right height for it to just get up over that lip there. Once the wheels are on the platform, I just roll it in and drop it in and then clamp it down. Inside the box I've put a bit of form ply in as the base, and that's bolted through into the chassis area, so it's pretty firm. And then I've just put a heap of D-rings down to use for tie down points on top of that ply. Yeah, so it's not a full solution I was after, but it's a bit of a temporary fix because we're getting pretty close to getting out and about on the adventure, and I need to get a solution for this. Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of a demo on how this goes in and how it works. And this isn't a boating channel, so I won't spend too long on this, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what I've done. So we're just getting around. Obviously this will be typically on grass. If not, I'll just put something soft down like that mat. It weighs 43 kilos this, so it's a bit of a beast, really awkward to lift, but it's got a handle at the front here and then another handle there, so there is some decent hold points. So this is going to lift it up, get those wheels up and over the lip, like that. And then just get it up like that. Got to pass that lip. The wheels are a little bit big, if I'm honest. I probably might go with a smaller one later on, but this will do for now for the trip. And it just glides in like that. Job done. And the same on the reverse coming out. And yeah, just ratchet strap it down and she's good to go. Yeah, we'll get on to something else now. I think I'm going to put some flooring down in the Caravan, so we'll get on to that. Cheers. Yes, I got it all sanded, cleaned it all up with a wet rag, vacuumed it twice, cut a few of these to length now. That's the boards, vinyl. Just going to fit there like that. I'm just going to run lengthwise. I've got enough. I can just waste that off cut. It's only about 150mm off, cut off the end of each one, and I'll just run it through. Just got to check it in around this door here and here. So I've just marked where those checks are and how much I need to cut out, so I'll just run the saw across it. I think it's probably going to be the neatest edge, or maybe the Stanley. I'll figure that out in a second. Then I'll wipe and vacuum each one as I'm about to put it down. I'll wipe and vacuum, and I'll just keep going along until I get to the end, and I'm going to get this cut and we'll chuck it in. Yeah, so that worked out right. I just trimmed it with a Stanley. They're pretty easy to cut. Not the straightest cut, but it fits actually quite neatly, which is good. It slots in beside those bits. Just got to pull this rubber door seal off, and I'll have to trim it a bit. And then they're going all right. Pretty neat edge along there, which is good. Now I just stack them in. Should be a fairly quick process, but I just got to make sure the floor's really clean. I don't want any dust on there at all because it won't stick and adhere otherwise. looks good. And it's like just the slightest of lip there on that door frame above the edge, which is perfect. So hopefully that'll hold, and should be job done. I'll just chuck the rest in now. There she is done. I'll just see how it wears and tears, and whether it sticks and holds and shrinks and stuff, because I've heard they can shrink and swell and look a bit ordinary anyway, so I'll just see how that goes and call it good for now. So I just spent the last 10 minutes screwing the bed frame to the sheet that goes on top of it there. So they're all solid now. Next step is to punch some holes through. I'm going to measure it out and try and do a bit of a grid pattern. Try and retain the strength still in the sheet, but allow some ventilation through. I've got another little thing I'll show you in a sec that I'm going to put on top of the bed. But yeah, having airflow through here underneath the mattress and out, it's going to be pretty important. I think this stuff will sweat, I reckon, in a humid climate, so I want to make sure that I've got some good airflow. I don't think it'll compromise the strength too much. It's got fairly good frame to hold it all anyway, and they're a complete sheet, so yeah, I'll just do maybe a dozen holes across the whole floor, whole bed, and see how it goes. It's Christmas. Pretty dusty job. I think that'll do. I'll see how it goes anyway. I can just lift the mattress up and punch some more through later on if I want to. Got my mate the Sparky to come back. He fitted off the solar in the end. I just had it run through the roof, as you saw earlier in an earlier episode. So he just came and made it look good basically, and got these now running down. It's the only way I can really work with a pop top. So there's flex in that, and as it goes down it just folds out of the way, so I think that'll be good. Cruises down there and around there, and then back into the Victron panel, obviously. So yeah, it's actually running even in the shed, because I've got a bit of laser light above it. It's running at like 9 watts feeding into the batteries or something. Well, I've resisted temptation long enough now. It's time to chuck the mattress in, I reckon. Still got a little couple of jobs to do in there. I've got to put some USB charger outlets and things up the back near the bed head, but I reckon I can do those with a mattress in there. Just take my shoes off. So that's the mattress in a box. As soon as I get it in there and undo it, it's probably never going to be able to come out again easily. I'll have to pull the skirt out if I want to take it out, so hopefully it's good. Before it goes in, I've got this. I got it from the King's 4-wheel drive super center. It's designed for their rooftop clamshell tent, which it's meant to just create ventilation underneath the mattress. You would have seen me earlier on cut the holes in the bed frame so that there's airflow down into the storage area. So I'll chuck this in there first. It goes on top there, and then the mattress will drop in on top of that. It's not the right size. It's actually a little bit big because of it's designed for a rooftop tent, so it's not a queen size bed shape. I'll just chuck it up there and see how it looks. It might actually go up the back wall a little bit, which will even create more ventilation, which is good. See how it looks. Yeah, that's it on there. It must be the width of a double, I think, is how it works. Not really sure, but it's too long, as you can see. I've folded it over at the end there. I'll just leave it like that and chuck the mattress on top and see what happens. Christ, this thing's under some serious tension. It's cut that plastic wrap off and she starts pushing hard. It's like it's going to explode. Just to get it out, I think, before it kills someone. There she is. She's in. Not 100% sure on this mattress though. She's got some pretty weird feeling springs in it. I think it's got the gel memory foam stuff that's got to expand and tighten everything up. I hope anyway, because it's pretty uncomfortable. It was cheap. I might be regretting it. Might be coming out in pieces, replaced with something else later on, but good enough for now. We'll get on to the next job. After spending about an hour and a half trying to find the instructions on how to turn the induction on, I got it up and working, found the instructions inside, cranked it up to 9 on the small element, and it boiled that, I don't know, half a litre of water in about 45 seconds. It just ripped into it. It's pulling 1475 watts, so that's a 1500 element. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Bit of a weapon. This is the next addition to the family. Just checking out the drawer on this. That's a Nero sandwich press. It's got a few extra functions over your standard sandwich press. It's designed to fit in there. I made that space suitable for it to fit in. I don't know how it'll go with vibrations and corrugation, but we'll see how we go. It's got a timer, so you could, it's no chance of getting it left on then and burning the house down, which I like. And it's also got adjustable temp, which most of them don't. They just have flat out and stop typically. So I've got low, medium, high and super high. Yes, I'm just cranking it to see what it draws. Now, the other bit about this that I like, which these non-stick plates come off and you can wash them. It's also got a fat drain point that drops into a container there where you can empty and clean. So it's pretty easy to clean, hopefully. So it's not just a sandwich press, it's also a grill. It also opens fully. I won't do it with one hand when it's 180 degrees on the surface there, but you press the buttons in on the side here and the whole thing lays flat, so you've got like 2 grill plates basically to cook stuff on, which is good as well. Yeah, there we go, boom, straight up to 1900, 1869 watts in that top left-hand corner there. I think it's a 2000 watt maximum, so that'd be about right. It's bloody hot anyway. Yeah, so it handled that pretty well. Just got to remember not to have that running and that running at the same time. That's 2000 and that can push up to 1500 on that one or 2000 on that one. So that's, testing out the inverter in a big way. Next job, been doing a bit of buying, a bit of splurging. So I just went and bought one of these. It's DIY power adapter. It's just drops the 15 amp socket there down to a 10 amp plug for the wall. Just goes through one of those connectors there. So that's it there on the end of my power lead. So it's just that section there. It plugs into the wall. They're not cheap. I think they were 130 bucks, but it was on sale for 90 something. It was a quick solution that I needed because I couldn't charge it in my shed because I didn't have a 15 amp outlet. I'll use that forever, so I figured it was a reasonable investment. They're only for indoor use. They look like they're made to sit out in the rain, but they're not. So I'm not sure what the go is there, but plastic bag on it maybe. I also got a bit of stuff to fill tanks. I bought this Gardena flow meter. It's a digital one. That was about 50 bucks. Money's flying out the door. These last minute rush buys. I just seen a few people post about these and how good they are for filling your tanks, just to give you an idea of how much you've put in. Just another bit of information. So I'll give those a go, and I don't really want to fill the tanks up to the brim and pressure out the top through the breather hoses and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a good investment. I'll give it a go and see how it goes. And I bought a couple of the freshwater hoses. They were on sale at super cheap as well. The Camac ones are 30 bucks, I think, on sale, which is good. So I'll get some water in the tanks, fill them completely today. So I'm about 2 or 3 days away from taking off on the Maiden voyage. So I fill them today completely, let them sit for a couple of days, make sure none of the fittings underneath on the joint where they're joining the tanks and so on start leaking. Get the hot water unit filled as well as part of that exercise. Actually turn it on, make sure that it's all functioning well. And then I'm going to do a bit of a shakedown trip. We're just going to go out to the folks actually and show them the van. They haven't seen it. It's about an hour and a half round trip, so that'll be a good little test for bearings and brakes and everything fully loaded. So I'll chuck all the camping gear in, fill all the water tanks, go for a bit of an amble down the road and see how she all goes. And then we'll be ready to roll on the Maiden voyage in a couple of nights' time. Let's get on with it. I actually got away with one hose, so I didn't need to buy two. It does reach, but it is stretching it a bit. I've just got it locked onto the outlet point for the pumps, which also forms a pressure connection for town water if I was at a caravan park. So it back pressures the whole line all the way back to the pump, pretty much. So it goes in here, runs under the floor there actually. It comes up, pops out the outdoor shower, comes all the way around there, down there, runs into the kitchen, also comes around here and drops into the hot water unit. So that'll top fill the hot water unit through there, up to a point and pressurise the whole thing. Then I can just turn that off and I'll have a completely full system, and then I'll be able to fill the tanks from the bottom, which is the other one, and I won't have to worry about the pumps pushing all the water to the hot water and system and that, because it'll already be wet, which is good, I think. And then I can actually chuck the fuse in, because I've taken it out of the water heater, chuck the fuse in and fill the tanks, get all the pumps working, get water flowing through with the pumps through the hot water unit, and just to make sure she warms up and everything's good to go there. We'll see how we go. I have popped a couple of these lines since pressure testing it all and reconnected them and so on, so just got to keep an eye out for leaks too, especially with all this wonderful blue gear in here now. So that's just running through there and into the hot water unit and filling it. I popped those ones over there, but they seem all right. Let's turn the light on in here so see what's going on. Definitely nothing leaking there, which is good. Probably not pressurised up to this point yet, so may not see water on these ones until the line's back pressure all the way up there. That all seems to be pretty good at the moment. I'll just go and let some air out by opening taps in various spots, and we'll see if it flows. First test, I just chucked a bucket under the grey water so I wouldn't get water all over the floor in the shed. I walked straight over here to unplug the tap and turn the tap on and smash my head into that. So might need a reassessment of where this sits. Doing the dishes and cracking skulls open, probably not going to be much fun. We'll see how that goes anyway. So we'll just do a bit of a run on cold town water. Sure, that'll start spurting and spluttering as it clears line, air out of the line soon. Make sure I got flow through the hot water. It's not on, but it'll have flow through. Yeah, all looks pretty good. She's all watertight, fairly sure. I might just run some more water through the hot side of the tap, so that I do know that that's completely void of any air. I don't want to burn the element out. That was all pretty successful, so I've just switched it over and put the flow meter on. It's on the bottom fill point now for the tanks. It's switched off there. There's pressure to that point, but I've switched off that tap just until I check everything. So I need to open, these are fill points, top fill points, obviously, for the tanks. So just got to make sure that I've always got those open when I'm filling, or you can blow your tank up with the pressure. The good thing about this being accessible from the back is I can actually unlock it from inside by just clipping the thing, and then I get the breather and the fill point open. So I'll do that on all of them just to be safe. See what happens with the flow meter when I crank it. Tanks are filling. I've got two 140 litre tanks, so it's 280 litres, and I'll probably just chuck 250. Oh no, I might try and fill them actually, because then I can calibrate my pressure transducers afterwards. But you probably don't want to sit here watching this tick over for 5 minutes, so we'll just join me later on. Cruising around under here, and I can't see any weeping or anything yet. I'll probably be at about 100 litres, I reckon, or maybe 150 by now. All those are tight, which is good. Obviously a bit of vibration will change things potentially, but let's keep an eye on it. So I've just gone into the setup. This is the freshwater tank. I've put in it's 280 litres. When it was empty, it was reading 0.6 volts on the sensor, and I've just changed it. Sensor went full to 3.2 volts because that's what it's reading now, and I know it's full. It's called freshwater. I've got that over here as a switch for the pump as well. So that's now showing at 98% capacity, which is pretty close to right. So yeah, it's at 98%. You go back to the menu, you can see it there, 98%. You've also got a screen here. It shows how much water's in the tank. I've got to put the 45 litres into the drinking water tank now as well. So I'll do that from top fill. I haven't got a bottom fill for that tank. I've got a top fill, so I'll just do that and then come here and reset the volts on that as well. All right, this is the fill point for the 45 litre. The hose doesn't reach, so I did buy that second hose after all. What I don't have though is a hose joiner, but what I do have is the Thirsty Nomad pre-drinking filter. Handy for the purpose of filtering, but also it acts as a connector because it's got the two joiners on either end, so I can just plug it into the line. I'll put the flow meter on one end and the other hose on the other, and then I'll be able to fill it up, and that should work out quite well, which is lucky. Just got it on the low flow, so it's, you can see it ticking over. That's 4 litres. Probably about, I don't know, 5 litres a minute or something. See it running through that filter, come through the hose and up into the top fill point there, which fills up the 45 litre. So we'll just run it until we start hearing it gurgling and starting to come out, I guess, and then we'll take it from there. That's 9, nearly 10 litres. Yeah, either my tanks are not holding what they're supposed to, or something's wrong. It's got to be this flow meter, I reckon. Unless there was 10 litres in that tank, which is possible, actually, that there was water left in there. It's saying I only got 34. So is it the flow meter wrong? Is the tank capacity wrong? Or was there water already in there? They're the three things I need to figure out over time. I guess next time I empty them, go through this process again, I'll actually run them completely dry with pumps and outlets and go again and see what happens. We'll go and calibrate the 45 litre tank now. Not sure if you can see that, it's a bit bright, but yeah, they're both reading 97 on the 45 litre tank and 268 on the 95. Close enough for me, giving me a good indication. I'll just have to keep calibrating them once I figure out what's going on with the levels. We'll get the hot water unit going and get some flow through pumps and make sure all that's running well and there's no more leaks. Just trying to figure out as I load weight into it, what's happening with ball weight. So I've got the scales here at the front there. I've put about 300 kilos of water. Since I did the 1500 tear on the weighbridge at the beginning, I've put a mattress in, which is about 20 kilos. I've got solar panels on top, which flexi panels, so they weigh about 15 total, probably not even that much, but so that's 335 added. I've got 45 kilo outboard motor in the box. It's just sitting there at the moment, but that's 45 kilos. There'll be another 10 litres there of petrol on top of that. Obviously, you haven't got any of the camping gear in the back here yet, which is all behind the axle. So all that stuff there and swags and things, which will add up to, I might get 50 kilos. The actual inflatable boat's going to go right there, which was pretty much on the axle. When I add all that up, divided by the ball weight of 190 kilos currently, it works out about over 10% ball weight, which is about right. But as soon as I start loading up the back of that, she's going to get lighter and lighter. So I just need to be consciously putting stuff in here that's heavy, basically just to keep weight on the front. The things that can go in there, I've got a bag of tools, bag of spares, cast iron cookware and a tub I can put in there. It's all fairly heavy stuff. That'll add up pretty quickly. The fridge will have food in it. That'll be fairly heavy. The fridge is in there though, so it's just the food. Probably be offset by the food that goes in the pantry, honestly. So yeah, need to start thinking about this stuff. I reckon some jerrys on the front are going to be the go at the end of the day. I'm going to have to get jerrys there so I can put another 40 kilos there when I need to. Right for the Maiden test run voyage. Not too happy with ball weight situation after I loaded the back up with the boats and everything. It's sitting at about 9%, so I'm going to have to think about what goes in that front box It's a really awkward space to fill now with the outboard motor in it. So I think jerry cans on the front's going to be a necessity. And anyway, I'll see how it tows. 9.5% on a single axle, 2 ton is not too bad. I think some of the camper trailers are that heavy and they run at 6%. So hopefully it's all right, but we'll see how it goes on this maiden trip. Back in the shed in one piece. Some idiot forgot to torque the wheel nuts. So we nearly had an incident. Like it was only a half-hour drive. I got there and they were definitely loose. So there was a bit of movement there. So I got on the torque wrench and got them up tight. But I got lucky. Hey, if I'd have gone on a 3-hour drive like I'm planning for this trip and didn't happen to notice it, I could have been in a bit of strife. So tip there and a lesson, and I got away with it. So we won't do that again. Yeah, it went well. It poured rain actually on the way out and on the way back. Absolutely bucketed down, and I couldn't see any leaks inside, so that's a good start. As I said earlier, with it fully loaded in the back, it was pretty light on the ball. I think it was about 9%, I reckon. I calculated it at, which isn't perfect. I'd rather it to be over 10. So what I'm going to do is, before I get going on the road, I'm going to pull all that out. I've got some more tie down points I'm going to fit in there, so I've got more options. I'm going to move the motor forward a little bit, tie it down on one side, and then load up the other side to match the weight of it with some more gear. So I've bought a couple of camp stretchers for the boys to put their swags on, and they weigh about 30 kilos, 15 each, which is crazy. But anyway, I need weight here, so that's probably a good thing. And a couple of heavy-duty crates I've got as well, so I chuck all the tools, hopefully a bit of campfire cast iron stuff in there, and try and get 40 or 50 kilos extra at the front here, and that'll bring it right up to 10% and spot on. So that's the plan right now. Yeah, so no, it's looking good. Pretty happy with it all. Still got my wheels. Good stuff. So I think the time's come. Time to get on the road. What have we got going on in here? That's all packed pretty much. No idea whether I've provisioned enough for the trip, but we'll see how we go. Fridge is all locked and loaded, running at 4 degrees. Got the bed all made. Dog bed sitting there. Got the boys' doonas there sitting there as well. It's all been made. Geez, that was a bit of a mission trying to get that made. Hard to put a fitted sheet on that mattress. Fishing rods all tucked away nice and neatly in there. Got to get them done. A bit of a storage solution for them in the storage area later on. She's packed tight in there. A fair bit of weight in there now. So I just measured the ball again. It's about 210 kilos on the ball, which is a bit over 10%, I think. I'm not going to run it over the weighbridge today. I'll do that next trip. I think I'm running out of time. We're getting a bit of a late start here. I'm trying to chase boys out of bed to get in the car. So I'll put the roof down and hitch it up and do one final check about, and then we'll hit the road. Yeah, so we'll call it there, end of the episode. Ran out of time. Bit of a mixed matched episode, that one. Lots of different bits going on just to try and get it over the line to finish. I did 3 trips to Bunnings yesterday trying to get stuff. Just those last little things that needed to be done. I kept forgetting things and having to go back. Anyway, a bit of a cluster. But we got there in the end. So yeah, we'll be heading off down the road. Episode 19 done and dusted. And episode 20, hopefully from the campsites. It's going to be a bit of an exercise in patience, I think. What have I packed? Have I packed the right stuff? How's it all arranged? Getting stuff out, putting it back in. I've got about 10 things that I've never used before, like the composting toilet. Don't even know what I'm supposed to do with that yet. I've got to read the instructions. I've got a drone, never used before. I've got basically a whole caravan I've never used before. So yeah, she's going to be a bit of a test, and I'm sure we won't get it all right, but we'll learn a lot, and next time around it'll be much better. So yeah, thanks for joining in again. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment and do all those wonderful things because it helps the channel out. And I'll see you in the bush.